Hello, hello, and welcome to Drakenmemoria. Yes. What is Drakenmemoria, you may ask? Well, it's usually about Dungeons and Dragons, but like I've been saying in the past few weeks, I've been trying to expand to other game systems. But for now, it's mainly Dungeons and Dragons. But as you can see, what's behind me, there, there, that's not Dungeons and Dragons. It's a map. Yes, tonight we are map making. The map we have been making for 20 weeks. I never thought it would take this long to make this map, but it's a huge map. And that's probably what I was the most what I underestimated the most. The size of the actual size of the map. While it's not a problem for me, I admit that from time to time it wasn't extremely riveting to watch this map being made. Even for people who actually likes watching map being made. But nevertheless, it is about a map being made. It is a map that for me will most likely be used sometime, somewhere for Dungeons and Dragons, but maybe it won't be for you. Oh. Stream has officially started. I have yawned. Alright. What was I saying? Oh yeah, maybe it's not going to be for you. Maybe for you it'll be something else. Another game system, short story, novel, just for fun, to relax. It's fun to immerse yourself in another world and just look at it and feel what's happening in it. Why is this there? What's happening there? What might be happening there? Yeah, for some people it's fun, for some people it's boring. So yeah, we are map making. If I look a little out of it, like I said in chat, I just got a flu and COVID shot, so I may be a little bit more out of it than usual. My stomach certainly has been making laps around itself. So we'll see about that. Who knows? Maybe in midstream I will be forced to just run to the bathroom and you'll hear me in the distance evacuating my bowels. Very interesting, very intriguing. I'm sure there's probably very niche, but I'm sure there's an audience where, hey, hello, Cosmic Purge. Oh, that's a funny coincidence with the purge thing. Hello! Like I said, tonight we are making a map, or, well, building one. It's almost done, this one. And I'm also always open to D&D discussions. And other discussions as well. I mean, why limit ourselves? So, the map. Well, it's mostly done. About time also. We were revisiting some of the places on that map, so the field looks a little less barren. type of weapons come to my mind with the name Predictive Edge? That's an interesting question. A time or a probability base weapon? Something that would affect time or probabilities or realities. Why? Because the word edge sort of makes me think about the twilights of things. What about you? What does the name of your own weapon inspires in you? All right. A glaive or some sort of slashing weapon with a reach property. Okay. I can see where the edge element comes into play. But what in this type of thing, where does the predictive come in? Why does the predictive element of it makes you think of that weapon? Edge, I can easily see it. But predictive. So we were adding trees because some forests, because like we were saying at the end of last stream, usually there are more forests. Half of a map generally should be made of forest, unless you're creating your map in a very dry climate, and that's different. But we've established that this is more of a boreal climate. Maybe the edge between temperate and boreal. Alright. It'd be a unique weapon that can attack unoccupied space. Alright. And when a creature walking into the space, that's when they take the delayed damage. But the creature can arcane check to recognize the space as hazardous. Okay, now I can see what you mean by that. I'd say putting the DC 20 is a bit high, but it depends on the level of the of where your characters are right now. So it would sort of be an after effect, sort of a magical object that has this property of leaving behind a small trap. Yeah, yeah, no, I know. I understand that it's invisible. It's sort of a you slash in the air and the slash itself stays there. My comment on the DC-20 was more of a it has to be fair in some way. DC-20 would be something that you'd expect if your characters, either those who are going to suffer it or your players, I mean, either those are gonna who are gonna suffer it or who have left it behind. A DC-20 would probably be at the very end of a campaign. It would be something that you should see with level, I don't know, 17, 18. That's what I mean. Um, One reference that you can have when you want to put a DC on an ability is, hold on, I'm pretty sure I have the table and the Dungeon Master book somewhere. What would it be? I think it's the scrolls. Here you go. So by mixing the table about spell scrolls on page 200 and oh, come on, that's just mean. And the table on magic item rarity on page 135, you can get an idea of what kind of DC you should have according to the level of character. So, for example, a DC 20. Oh boy, the DC 20 effect should be something reserved to probably level 19 and 20. Okay. Let's expand this forest just a little bit. I think there's definitely enough room. It's far enough from the mountain. And close enough to a lake, so there definitely could be something here. I think it's not exaggerated to increase the size of this forest. Definitely be something here. The shape of the forest here feels perfect to add a few trees. Sort of justify why the road is so bumpy. Right. Okay. Yeah. We can, and we'll be able to extend the tall grass. Oh, I've been doing some research about tall grass. I don't know why. I don't know where I found the research that said that tall grass is more prominent in North America. Because, well, like I said, I travel a little bit to France and Spain, and felt like I've seen decent amounts more in Spain than France. I'll have to say, but still. And yeah, no, it's not that it's not present elsewhere. Apparently, it's just that it's more prominent. I don't know if it's true. I've never actually taken the time to take an extremely long walk in North America. By that I mean weeks long walk, not few hours. I've taken many walks of several hours in North America, but yeah, okay, like this. Okay. Sorry, I was also thinking about if you're still there, Cosmic Purge. Probably an idea if you want to figure out the DC. You can always look for information in the books about perception. So, passive perception. Probably where the. Oh, come on. Stop doing this. Alright. Hiding. No. Passive perception doesn't give what I want. So, invisible. Oh, come on. What's the spell? You know, I understand about that. No, that's not. Where are you? And a little creature can't be seen, so it can always try to hide. Sign of its passage might still be noticed. However, it still has to stay quiet. Stay alert for signs of danger all around. So if you come out of hiding and approach a creature, it usually sees you. However, under certain circumstances, it doesn't matter. So yeah, the 2014 Player Handbook, page 177, does state that even invisible things can leave behind traces of their existence. So I know that being invisible is also just being invisible, but if there's never any way to see them, then there's an unfair element. If you want to just give it to your player, yeah, sure, they're gonna love it because you're giving them something that is impossible and fallible. That's always appreciated, but it also removes some challenge elements, which not all players would actually enjoy. And if on the contrary you give them that, you give an enemy that ability, well, then your players are going to be pissed at you because you did something that they can't avoid, they can't prepare for. They can literally accuse you of cheating. Oh, that's interesting. Not necessarily putting it completely there, just creating a small gap. So yeah, everything else is nice. It's fine. It's good. It makes an interesting little trap. You can even flavor it while someone is doing this, saying, "Oh, you are an attack is made, and you roll." Says it missed, but or if you want to put the trap impossible to avoid, you can always make the entire attack delayed, meaning you don't put a DC, meaning the trap itself will have an attack value, the attack value which was used when you created it, and a poor value can reflect the fact that the slash was poorly made. It left a tear behind, so it's easy to see, and then bam, someone arrives, they see the tear, and they don't step on the trap or through the trap. Oh, that's interesting here. I don't know, it feels perfect here. Where here? To put something. I was thinking maybe it was a bog. Marshy grass, 35. Good point. Save. It's probably a small hill. It's not that deep. It just goes up a little, so rainwater collects there. And it probably drains into the river that's a few miles further, with very, very shallow streams. It's so small that a map like this wouldn't show them. Yeah. Definitely interesting. All right. No, it's not what I wanted to. Why? Because I want right there, middle of the edge of the forest, just here, being a little bit longer. Oh, and while we're on 35, didn't I say 35? Oh, damn. No. Oh yeah, that's right. The size of the plate behind the tree is a bit large. It's a custom tree. I didn't know how wide it should actually be. Probably made it just a little too wide, so that when I erase things, it erases the tree as well. Alright, so more sheep. A little bit bigger. How about it on your end? You know, I'm always creating these things with ambiance sound that I just forget about. The ones that you hear in the introduction screen. Do you want me to keep playing it? Sorry. I keep playing it because I enjoy it. But not everyone likes thunderstorm and marsh sounds. But I do. So let me know if you think you would enjoy having that background noise. Probably would make it a little less boring sometime for you, because I get stuck in my head and I just think about, oh wow, this could be interesting, and I realize that I haven't been speaking, and so for you all you're hearing is so. I think it could be worth it. Yeah, no, don't worry, I know you're not gonna answer. Yeah, like this. And I can connect it here, because there's already some tall grass. It's very small tall grass. Is it actually? Did I make a mistake when I put this one in? No. No, I think it's just that I usually make it a little more dense. Yeah, there you go. Well, you know, tall grass and ruins always go well together. So it would be normal for the forest up here to have grown larger, but not to, you know. Oh, wow. Sorry. And I'm... oops. There was a town being transported there. My medicine is taking effect. It's not fun. Alright. Let's keep on. Let's try and keep on going for as long as we can. This medicine is supposed to be good for you. It's supposed to increase your health. It's supposed to help you recover. No, of course, it's not always the case, but it should be. Right? Yes, there was an interrogation mark at the end of that sentence. Not because I want you to answer it, just, well, if you want to answer it, you should. I'm not gonna let you not answer it, but more a question of, right? In the sense that that's what they tell us. Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Of course, they always tell us that it's gonna help. They always tell us it's gonna be good. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. I know, it's probably more of a statement on modern medicine that I'm making rather than a real critic. Sometimes it feels like they're just stumbling around in the dark. Little bit too. Alright, alright. Well, like this. Yeah, that works, that works. Increase the forest here just a little bit. No, that's, yeah, fits well. Like this. Right. Maybe increase the forest just a little bit here. Not by a lot, just a little bit. Filling in the space. Oh, yeah, that works. I need just a bigger one so that it fills the entire area. Like this. Maybe not the tallest. So that's just a little bit more subtle, like this. Yeah, so now the tall grass really prevented it from spreading. Now here we need a little bit more trees. 50, not 55. My arm is just killing me more and more. Alright. Like this, and like this, and like this. A bit of forest. Hadn't seen it coming, but why not? Time went by. You know, this new version of the map happens 100 years later. Sorry. That was a pretty loud crack. Alright, so 35 and 30. Okay. No, just put one like this here. And close this. Don't need it. So how's the stability of the stream? Okay, it's not so bad. For the past week and a half, I've been having difficulty with the stream stability. I know it's not by my computer, because it's not finding this hard. It could be just internet instability. I seem to go through phases where it becomes a bit more unstable. Oh, I don't know exactly if... oh, interesting. This whole area just changed. That village is suddenly inside of the forest. Bit of a clearing next to a river. Interesting, interesting. lightning strikes. Maybe I'll try to do it for the next stream. Just keep on playing the background music, ambiance, because I know that my OBS doesn't like it when I make modification while it's active, so I'd have to shut down the stream and restart it, and that's never without risk. Oh, yeah, medicine's really kicking in. It's not liking me. Medicine in general doesn't like me. Thinks I'm boring. I don't know why. Yeah, I think I'm in the mood for just getting lost into creating this. Sorry, I'm gonna have to remain focused. Just to talk, at least tell you what's in my mind. I want to increase the size of the forest here, maybe all the way to here. Just because I feel it is appropriate. It gives a reason for the little bump here. It gives a reason for the bigger bump here. The road would naturally have been made at the edge of the forest because people don't like walking in forests. Nowadays they do. But that's because the world in general has gotten a whole lot safer. Back then, oi. Walking into a forest, you practically were begging to be mugged. No, not mugged. I'm having so much difficulty in the past 2 weeks. Yesterday on the stream, I don't know why, instead of saying gilded, I kept saying, instead of saying guild member, I kept saying guild member. Not exactly the same thing. All right. Like this. Oh. Forest has been increased here. I think we've mostly done everything we needed. Maybe just add a few pine trees here. Where'd it go? Yeah, okay, that's better. Here the forest is stopped. Here it's stopped. It can't keep growing here. It's too close under the mountain. No, here it can actually grow. I think it should probably... Yeah, alright. Increase the forest here. Okay. Yeah. Let's repopulate our reserve. Okay. No, that's too big. That's 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40. 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35. Oh yeah, I started saying this. Yes, I know. I haven't... No, that's not true. New old episode haven't been posted since 18. But I have finished 18. It is in queue to be released tomorrow, I think. If I wrote the release time properly. So 18 should be up. And I think the only other one that had a problem was 19, where I was so tired at the end, I think I zoned out. That's never actually pleasant to watch, someone that just zoned out and nothing's happening. So once I've edited that moment out, just like 18, I realized while I was watching it for the possible triggering circumstance elements, that my microphone was sputtering a lot and I didn't catch it. Okay, that's good. So I started editing it to remove as many silence as possible, moments where I might have just been very focused on what I was building, because I really didn't notice that the microphone started sputtering again. So I edited the blank moments just so that you have fewer sputtering moment to go through. Which is another reason why it took me so long to make. That's no, should probably. So yeah, episode 18 is in queue, and I think it was episode 19. I'll have to check. Well, it's easy enough to check. So October 13, that's no. Just it's either it's 10. Three. No, it was going to be classified as 18, 11, 4. Here you go. No. Oh man. June, October, October 13, October 6, September 29th. Is there a October? No. Is there an September 27? No. September 20? September 20. Okay. September 20. And our episode are there. So it's episode 20. Now, there you go. That's settled. Which means I think 19 will also be on queue to be released tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. So and that is actually how I make my sound test before we start. I know, that was a weird statement. But that's actually true. It's how I make my sound test before we start. I just go, and if everything comes out okay, then the sound test is good. Well, that's for me anyways. I don't think I like just increasing the size of that forest. I think I'd rather... Oh, okay. I think I'd rather... Hold on. I have an image of what it used to look like. Where is it? Here it is. Zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. Oh wow. I didn't expect it to have such a problematic resolution. Damn. That's slightly annoying. So what's the real size of this? That's the real size? Oh, wow. Alright. Shadows of the trees is going to be a bit weird. I'm going to have to see if there's a way to increase the quality so it's as close to that image as possible. Alright. So, this one's 2, and this one, and this one. Right, so we're back to what it was. Oh, wow. I remembered that the quality would diminish substantially when I exported the image, but I didn't remember that it lost that much quality. Wow. Maybe it's just the type of image. I'll have to play around a bit with the different types, JPEG, PNG, see which one gives the best result. Technically, I think it should be PNG, but you never know. So what I want to do here is add not just add forest. I want to add 2 forests. This, like this. Just a little jump. No, not a jump, like this. Like this, like this, like this. Okay. That works. That works. No. Let's add a tree. Like this. No. Too big. Like this. And tall grass. Tall grass is 35, isn't it? Tall grass is 35, yes. We put tall grass right between the 2. Like this. Okay. It's gonna be one of those streams, huh? Hold on. Just gonna cut the sound for a moment. I may have to go get my jug of water later on, but alright, for now. I feel like the forest should have extended here. Like this. Yeah. Could be something like this. Just add a little bit. And there's already tall grass here. That's going to limit growth of the forest. See, we got something here. Okay. Sorry. Oh yeah, you got a big marshy area here. All right, just gonna add a few trees. I was just thinking about the fact that the trees were behind the camera. Thinking about just saying, could you just move over just a little bit? I need to get the trees behind you. It's a reference to something I said to someone about something that I experienced while going to the doctor. Doctor that just didn't care too much about listening to what I was saying. I was telling my friends, saying, at one point I just felt like I wanted to say to the doctor, could you move over? I'm trying to talk to the wall behind you. Hey, that works. Kind of nice. No, that's too big. Just a little bit here. Yeah, so there's the hills here. Don't go around. Mountain try to go down. Path that developed at the edge of the tall grass and the forest. Maybe the forest just kept on growing just a little bit more. Sorry. Just here. See, we got the tall grass here, but very often tall grass will help slow down the progress of the forest. So tall grass stop here, forest starts here again. Yeah, that's good. Oh, definitely that works. And I don't know why, but I've just had a huge desire to play a round or two. At Spiral Night. By that I mean just going inside of the clockwork a few times. Oh, see? And of course, we're going to add some tall grass. Because tall grass and ruins just grow. Well, technically, but go together perfectly. Oh, hey, that's something to think about. The reason why they say that tall grass is not as prominent in Europe as it is in North America. Maybe it's a criteria. Maybe tall grass has to respect a few specific criteria to be considered tall grass, and that's the reason why, for me, I think I saw a lot of tall grass while I was Europe, but technically it wasn't. Exactly. Just like that and like that. No, that's too big of a tree. Just something a little smaller, like this. Yeah. It goes very well here and here. 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 Yeah, why not? We have a tree here, and then, no, that's too big. Yeah, that's. Like this, and like this. And just keeps going on like this. So it's not a really large forest. The road just cuts through. Probably because the bog, the marsh area there, cuts in the forest. Might actually be the reason why the forest didn't grow further. No, that's not the right one. That's the right one. I hate it when my mouse does this. Alright, like this. So when the road naturally formed with people trying to find their way, they couldn't find a way that was out of the forest. They actually found a place to be, to move inside of the forest, because that's all that was available. The safest path through. Alright, so now I'm going to add a little bit of tall grass. Yeah, all day long I've been there we go. On both sides. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I should complete the forest around the bog. How about we do? Just renew our trees. This, and like this. Okay. So we're gonna complete the forest here. How about I put a big one? Always feel like you can't put the big ones. Here we are. Adding the big ones, the big pine trees. Well, it doesn't have to be pine trees. It's honestly more of a generic coniferous tree. This, like this. So I got a reason why the forest didn't extend. And probably the reason why the forest did not grow, or rather the path did not form outside of the forest, is that it's probably just a little slushy in there when you're walking. The road is actually where the path is the driest. So this, like this. And just so that it keeps on going. This, like this. Okay. Like this. Like this. Maybe I want to do the exact same thing that I did earlier. Cut the forest. Could he also suggest that there used to be a road there leading to the ruin? But it's not there anymore. Okay. Okay. Yep. We're gonna put a pine tree here. All right. You know, there's sort of a bend in the road. You can easily suggest that there used to be a road here. No, not 25, 35. But right now it's mostly just tall grass. Alright. Tall grass prevented the forest to grow here, so it's not. They're completely enclosed here, so that's going to be a plain regular plain. This forest is completely closed off, but not this one. Alright. Anyways, there's a great big bulge here, and it would definitely accommodate a little bit of forest. All right. Like this. The road went around. No reason here for the forest not to have grown. So let's make it grow. Talking about this region here. You know, it just works. Every time there is something in the road like this, that the road sort of bumps, the fact that there's something there should help just justify, okay, they probably did it because of that. I think it just works. River. Go. Yeah, okay, no, here there's justification. Not much of a justification here. But too perfect emplacement for trees. How about it? Let's make the forest bigger. Because when we look at our map, we gotta feel like, oh, half of the land is covered in forest. Because that's an actual ratio. Okay. Okay. Just gotta go there. There's no way around it. It just gotta go there. Okay. Just maybe perfectly placed tree. I mean, can you really ask for more? And you got an emplacement where trees can simply sprout, and it feels like it was meant to be, or to be alive. Okay. Oh wow. I think my shot is really starting to hurt. Alright, let's see what this, how does this look from above? I mean, it's better. It's not a big difference, but it's better. There are two main areas I think that I want to increase the tree. And that's small. That's small. Alright, that's, at least you can see it. So it's here and here. So these two areas can definitely get more trees. And the other one is here. Which I think should extend all the way to the road. Yeah. Oh, my legs. Really? That's all? Wow. Okay. Well, you know, big bulge, but not this one. Not this one either. Have a small one. Small fry. Okay. Yeah. You definitely extend it to the road. Because, sorry. Wow, that was a big yawn. It extends all the way, all around the forest here. So I feel like I should probably complete this. And anyway, bulge, bulge, bulge. Oh, hold on, hold on. That was a nasty gas attack. I mean, I know it can be funny listening to a long drawn out fart, but not everyone actually enjoys this. Sorry, just looking. The stream was going well. Well, broadcasting anyway. Okay. 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 Well, that helps significantly. Ooh, that was a weird shiver. All right. So let's marshy area. Let's put some tall grass there. I like the idea of the trap. It's marshy area, but right next to the road, it's tall grass. So if you want to take a shortcut and you just start going through the tall grass, and then suddenly marsh. It's like walking, and then suddenly flat tire. I think I should probably go get my jug of water. Gonna need it to finish the stream. So we're gonna take a, I don't know, let's say 5-minute break. And you can go to the bathroom if you want. Break usually is marsh sound. So see you in 15 minutes. 5 minutes. Bye. All right. Hi. Told you it was going to be 5 minutes. Well, technically, I think it's 5 minutes 30 seconds, but who's really counting? All right. As you can see, no bubbles. Why? Because it comes from my jug. My jug of water. That's a 2-liter jug of water. Alright, so I want to increase the size of the forest here and here. I think it's mostly going to be it. Sort of reason for the forest not to be too big in every other area. Here it's okay. Oh, we could increase it here a little bit. That makes sense. I guess we could put some in other places. There's a small forest, not a big one. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna start by doing the one here. Alright, I need to replenish my trees. Feels like a spell. Replenish trees. There we go. Okay. Okay. And last little reserve. Okay. Let's get this over with. Interesting. And the forest can't go beyond the river here. There wouldn't be enough place for the trees, although hey, it works, you know. I think it's small groupings of trees that's missing. You know, there are small groves and things like this all the time growing. It's how big forest starts after all. At one point it was just these 20 trees growing in the middle of a prairie or and then started growing. It grew and it grew and it grew, and eventually, I don't know, 500 years later, forest. Reminds me of Chrono Trigger. Which I agree is one of the greatest games of its time. But I don't agree on the fact that it's the greatest game. My personal, I don't know, top 3 game of from 86 to 99, 1999. Oh, top 3 might be hard. Let's go with top 5. There's Breath of Fire 1. I really like that game. Ogre Battle. The original Final Fantasy VII. Xenogear, and Parasite Eve. I think those would be my 5. Parasite Eve 1. Favorite game of that time? Favorite doesn't mean best of all time, just mean my favorite because there's something specific inside of it that I liked. For example, Final Fantasy VII. I like the mix in the universe between technology and magic. I really liked it. Xenogear felt nice because it's the same thing, the mix between the two, but I really like the battle system. And honestly, who doesn't like mechs? But I have to admit, it was a nice mix of medieval and future. Sort of like the same as Final Fantasy VII, but the other way around. Instead of being technology dominant with magic, it's magic with it's dominant middle age with technology. The two opposites. Really enjoyed it. Breath of Fire 1. It's because I like dragons. I've always liked dragons. The idea of someone that can transform into a dragon. I really love that. Parasite Eve. I think it's because it's a horror game that's not too much for my personal taste. There's an element of spooky. It happens near Christmas, which immediately will draw my attention. I'm not a big fan of horror games. But I don't mind the weird. So I guess it's the perfect balance. It's not too horror, but it's weird. I have to say that I like the combat system. Accumulating energy. Well, in D&D terms, it's sort of an Eldritch Knight. Well, D&D terms, 5th edition equivalent. It's sort of an Eldritch Knight. That's why I like the idea of the Eldritch Knight, but I don't like the Eldritch Knight in Dungeons and Dragons as it is right now. I feel like there's something missing. In a lot of cases of in D&D for half casters and third caster, I have a problem with them because the progression in spells is not fun. it's too limiting. I know you don't want to make it ultra powerful, but the fun of it is exactly like Parasite Eve, and another example of interesting that can be an interesting Eldritch Knight is Hollow Knight. You know, it has to stay relevant throughout the evolution. The problem is that anything that's damage dealing in D&D as it is now, 5th edition, it's the damage doesn't stay relevant unless you're a full caster, or you mostly have abilities that enhance your fighting combat. I feel like the only way that it becomes relevant or fun is if your dungeon master accepts that he will need to create spells for you. Because otherwise you're mostly stuck with, if you start taking damaging spells, they're gonna become outdated before too long. This is why I'm an advocate of creating a spell list for every single class that can use magic. Honestly, it helps focus, especially if you actually had a very specific idea. Because the more I look at it, the more I feel like they had a very, very specific idea when they created the Eldritch Knight. That you should probably be picking this spell and this spell and this spell. And there's so many circumstantial spells that are good, but only in certain circumstances. That's slightly annoying to me. No, if you're gonna have me if you're gonna try and force me into taking specific spells, but not tell me that these are the spells that I should take, because it's obvious that otherwise what you're doing is not good or efficient. I mean, why go with the whole mystery of, oh, hey, no, do it the way you want to do it. It's just not going to be good. But absolutely, do you. Right. The do you that's a little bit overdone there. yeah, it's me, but also you're forcing me to do something that's gonna make me feel like I'm not doing it right. No, essentially commit. Oh. Do you think that the Eldritch Knight should be like this? Well, then just commit and say and make a spell list that's just for the Eldritch Knight. You want to have there to be a lot of options? All right, but commit to it. Really give me options. Interesting. Tall grass goes here. I think we could make a bowl here, which means trees here. Not a lot. Yep, we're making maps tonight. Thursday is map making day. And talking about it, whatever comes into my mind. Or yours, if you want to share. Yeah, it's true. It takes a lot of patience. But also, here's one good reason that you might want to do this. While I'm building it, I'm also looking at why this is there. And this actually gives me ideas for different quests. There was this little place earlier on where here so you can see what I'm pointing at. Come on, where's the dot? Here it is. So oops, you're not gonna see anything like this. Right here. Didn't plan for this one, but because I was making it, okay, there was a hole there and then felt like putting something, so created a bog. Ding! You have something for a quest. Think about it. Think about the bog. The forest is there. There's a bog. It doesn't really connect to the river. Monster living there. It altered the region and created the bog there. So there's a bog monster. There's a town nearby. Player goes to the town. They get the quest to go do something with the bog monster. 3 nights of play. Tall grass is 35, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, but I also don't recommend making maps this big. Start with something smaller. And 3 years starting a huge homebrew. I thought about like 2 weeks ago. I only ever ran a 3.0 and I've been fighting to relearn 5th edition. It's so simple, it becomes complicated for me, okay? So much more complicated. I understand what you're saying. Honestly, I do. I learned with 2nd edition, and a lot of people find the 2nd edition too complex, but I don't. There's a level of complexity. I think at one point it becomes easy to follow, and 5th edition in many places feel so simple that it doesn't allow me to create exactly what I wanted, so I have to build something new. Oh, me, I started playing with the 1st edition and started DMing in 2nd edition. I only played once with the 1st edition. After that, I played twice as a player on the 2nd edition, and I've been the dungeon master ever since. Okay. Oh, yeah. And my dungeon master of the 1st edition didn't know exactly what he was doing. Yeah, it was also a first time player, so I feel like some rules were wonky the way he was doing it, and there wasn't enough space uh, for me to be very imaginative. Granted that I was really young, but I think I was 10 or 11, so I essentially even slightly too young for Dungeons and Dragons. It's supposed to be 13, but um, a very unorthodox way. Okay, my player starting at level 20. Okay, and due to timeline alteration, will have their power, status, and memory removed from them gradually throughout the story, or start 20, something happens, then they go back to level, I don't know, 3. Yeah, we're trying to make tall grass. Oops, other way around. Okay. There was a game that was like this. I think it was a Super NES game. What was the name? I can't remember. Yeah, it could be interesting. Just be sure not to make your introduction too long because they're going to get used to it. Do you know your group, or is it a pickup group that you're hoping is going to last for a year? I think I'm gonna follow the tall grass a little bit. And yeah, okay, that's good. And you also have an idea of how fast they're going to progress. That's always good. The group I have for the live campaign on Wednesdays, I didn't know them. It's a group that was mostly pick up on D&D Beyond, and then their friends added to the group. So half of it is in D&D Beyond, and the other half are friends of the players there. Quite honestly, after 4 years, I think it's the entire group of friends plus one. So they all know each other. No, plus two. Yeah, half of the group are friends. The other group were five. No, two of them. Sorry, two of them are didn't know each other when the whole thing started, and the rest of the group eventually turned out to just be a group of friends. But my group is infamous for over-planning. So, a campaign that was supposed to last 2 to 3 years is nearing 4 years and will probably last one other year. And it's like, oh. I have them leveling up through feats, and progression wise I'm looking for a slow burn campaign where they will grow to understand the big bad. This is in truth not evil, but a broken man who sought to save his family through any means. Okay. I'm wondering how you're going to bring the whole thing up. Could be very interesting. I thought about making a time traveling game once. Maybe I will with my group. I have told them that once this campaign is over, the worst thing you can give me is time for anything, because I'll just keep building and building and building and making it more complex and adding stuff, greater stuff, more powerful stuff. So once this campaign is over, they literally have choice with, I don't know, 5 different possibilities for a campaign 2. I don't necessarily want to close off the area. Kind of feels interesting that, oh, big bulge, tree going there. Of course, it has to. Maybe not this one. Maybe this one here. Yeah. A small one shot in between for players who wants to do smaller arc without the whole party too. Yeah, I mean, it's playing with groups that I don't know. I definitely see the idea. What's interesting in there. Can be difficult finding a group that will stay together for a prolonged period of time. I'm not good at one shot, mostly because I have a terrible aptitude to estimate how long something is going to take. So all of my one shot end up being 2 or 3 shots. So I usually focus more on a small adventure. You know, something that's going to take you 1 or 2 levels to finish. But that was a campaign, and they were warned it's a full campaign that was going to go from level 1 to level 20, although half of the group eventually joined after level 3. Well, that's an advantage that you have if you don't play live. And that's definitely something interesting. But when you play live like I do, yeah, that's harder to do. Just picking some of your players and just saying, okay, let's go. We're gonna do a small thing together. But when I did have groups that weren't live, it's actually quite easy doing this. If someone wants to go off on their own, especially during downtime after a quest, gives them a chance to have something special, different. Alright. Yeah, just a little bit of forest here. Like this. What else can you... Oh. A bulge. We need a big tree. Can't have bulges without trees in it. It just ties the whole thing together. Alright. I think with this, it's mostly done. Oh, yeah. I probably should increase the forest here and here. And after that, I think we're gonna go on the very small details. Small forest. So is the revelation of time alteration will be something long coming in your campaign, or is it going to be something established right at the beginning? Oh, that was change, and now this is your new reality. Or is it something that's they're not really gonna know? Part of what they need to figure out. What was changed? No, that's here. And this here. Bulge. Trees. I know. One of my player would be, oh yeah, of course, there's a bulge. You need to figure out the wood. Okay. I think I'm gonna extend the forests up to the road because we already have something there that's limiting the forest. We have a tall grass. That's a good point. Save. Okay. Just a little bit like this. No, I'm gonna put a large tree there. Okay. It works. Just squeeze that tree here. Alright. The road would have created around the forest. And forest here. So that the ruins have a forest backdrop. Yeah, no, forest backdrop. I know. Already thinking about the art. No. It's gonna look cool looking at the ruins of a castle with an ominous forest behind it. Oh no, ominous forest would be a dead forest. Dead forest is over there. But, you know. Okay. Yeah, it's going to separate it a little bit. Going to be a reason why it stopped growing. Of course, there's a reason why it's not growing in front. The ruin, it probably had land around it. Farming land. If it's an old castle, they probably cut down the forest in front, or rather to the sides. Then there was a battle. I have to say, I do enjoy looking at the names of people. Sometimes the wordplay or the references can't help but at least give me a chuckle. Oh, that's interesting name. Alright. I think we got everything we need. Every forest is surrounded in some way. There is room here, but it doesn't need to. I think we're good. So every forest has increased a little bit. There's a much larger forest now down below. Honestly, that's kind of nice. There are two large forests cut by roads. I think what we're missing is not large forest. They're small forest. Maybe little groupings of 3 to 4 trees, indicating that there's something there, but not necessarily. It's just a small grove or a forest that's, I don't know, 2 or 3 miles wide. Oh, yeah. Okay, okay. I think we have what we need to. All right. So it looks like we're going to be finishing this map on episode 25. Interesting round number. It is 25 exactly. I think we're on episode 24. Yeah, episode 24. So that's going to be interesting. Finishing on this round number 25. Like I said, I think I just want to make a few smaller forests, just a few trees. Of course, a grouping of 3 trees on a map this size means that it's a small forest of 3 or 4 miles long, which is, you know, a little bit big. Because we have to remember that 1 square on a road, 1 rectangle on the road, is 1 mile. So a forest just 2 or 3 trees wide is easily a 2 to 3 mile forest. So there could be a lot of those. Just a small one here, small one here, small one here. Those are big forests here. If you think about it, this is huge forest. It's forest that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Probably good at its narrowest 20 miles long forest. You know, you enter there and you're walking in a forest for the entire day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Yeah. It's easily 30 to 40 miles tall, and so it's actually a kind of a big forest. So what we need are small forest, just a grouping of trees. We're probably gonna go with only the small trees. Yeah. And we're only gonna add them to the eastern side, because the western side is mostly covered by the mountain range in the center. It's preventing rain cloud from going to the other side, so it's normal that it's a bit drier. But on the east side, where there's all the weather and the clouds and the winds and rain, it should have more vegetation. So yeah, you can easily see a few places where there can be more forest. So yeah, so apparently it looks like, didn't plan it like this, but it looks like we're going to end on episode 25 for this map. Which is a number that I'm okay with. Well, obviously not necessarily seeing as is currently busy. Okay. Okay, no it's not. So map 3 episode 24. Which obviously I would have preferred that there was less episodes. But $25 is a nice number. So that's what we're going to be doing next episode, adding the small forests, and then we're going to make our legend, and that's going to be it. So episode 25, we finish this one. Episode 26, like I said, we're probably going to be revisiting all of the previous map and adjusting the legend, because we have a few new symbols. So just making sure that the symbols stay constant with all of them. And that's it. Once all of them are ready, I'm going to start trying printing them out and then coloring them and putting them on Patreon where you can get them. Of course, that I'm going to, since that I am allowed to ask for money, we'll be purchasing these maps. That's mostly because I want to be able to pay the electricity bill. Alright. With this, I think that's gonna be it for tonight. A small thanks to Cosmic Purge and Noxus Not Found for being here tonight, taking time to chat with us. It's a rare pleasure to have this many people talking during one night. Hope it's gonna happen more and more. But until then, we're going to be ending the episode on this tonight. So, thank you for being here. Oh, that's not the right one. Yeah. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, either because you like making maps or because it's relaxing, because it felt nice not to do anything and just listen to someone else bore you to tears. Apparently I have a relaxing voice. Yeah, it's a little bit weird with me, but apparently someone said that. Maybe she was flirting. I don't know. It was a long time ago, also. Yeah, but thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Remember, if you want to support me, the show, the episode, you can follow us, leave a like, leave a comment, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. You can also support the stream by making a donation, becoming a Patreon, subscribing on Twitch. But if you can't do any of those things, there is a very free thing you can do that helps tremendously. I want to stress that it helps tremendously, and that is spreading the word of this channel. You'd be surprised how much it helps. So, with this, thank you for being here tonight. See you next week. And if you want to see the rebroadcast of the live campaign for the Eastern audience, the Eastern schedule-friendly rebroadcast, because live broadcast is more meant, because of the broadcasting time, more meant for the Western audience, and the rebroadcast for an Eastern audience. So, but hey, if you got nothing to do at 4 p.m. on Friday, yeah, sure, and watch the rebroadcast then. If you're from the West Coast, I mean. Yeah, that's it. So I'm rambling right now. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Hope you had a pleasant, whatever part of the day it is, wherever you are in the world. And as always, stay safe and stay healthy. Good night.